Yeah, it is. It's a good way to learn. So, okay. So what we'll do is we're just gonna get settled into our space, and part of this is just kind of tuning in and figuring out, like, what do I need? Do I want to be seated or do I want to be lying down? And we're just going to take about 2 to 3 minutes to kind of ground down and feel our breath. So feel free, like during these next few minutes, if you want to transition from seated to lying down, go ahead and do that. Part of the practice that we do in yoga is really just like being aware and paying attention to our bodies and figuring out what we need. So just get yourself comfortable in whatever position. And I really like the things that I've been thinking about lately are just groundedness and earthiness and balance, which those are all the things that come with fall. Like fall feels very solid to me. For anyone who has heard about Ayurveda, there's kapha energy, which is this very like steady, solid energy. It's grounded energy, and that starts to come in the fall. And so I'm trying to channel that groundedness now and sort of use what's going on. And so the other piece is this, you hear about this with yoga, like ease and strength. Like, how do you have both ease and strength? And so I'd like us to kind of play with that today. Like, it's a groundedness, but it's not this like dark, heavy groundedness. It's a just like an earthy, easeful groundedness. So just bring your awareness like into your body. Really, our bodies are what brings us into the present moment. And that's a lot of how, like when kids are in their head, they're really angry, they're in their emotions, we do little techniques to get them into their body. And that's what I love about yoga, is that it gets me out of my head space. And when I feel like when I'm in my body, I'm also in my heart space as well. So just take a few minutes to kind of ground down into this present moment. Just allow your breath to be natural. Don't force it. You can have your eyes closed if you want. And just breathe naturally. Just notice your inhalation and your exhalation. Where do you feel it in your body? Start to deepen your inhalations, filling up your belly, the middle of your chest and the top of your chest, and exhale. Take another deep inhalation in, filling up your whole mid-region, and exhale. Just notice how you're showing up today, what you might need to let go of, kind of leave at the door. There's no right or wrong way. You could show up angry as heck. You could show up depressed. You could show up manic. However you show up, it's just good to notice. There's no judgment, just awareness. You're here and you're present, and that is enough. So we're just going to do a few rounds of 4 square breathing. And essentially, we're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4. So I'll cue us for a few, and then we'll do a few on our own. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Now just continue with that at your own pace, maybe going through about 3 or 4 more rounds on your own. Inhaling for 4, holding, exhaling for 4, and holding. Once you've gotten to the end of your 3 or 4 rounds, just allow your breath to return back to its natural rhythm and just take a moment to pause and notice what may have shifted since we came to our mats a few minutes ago. I always like to take a moment after some breathing exercises to just notice how much power my breath has in just one little exercise, how that can happen. And I'm going to just read us a little, I'm going to read us a little poem, so you can keep your eyes closed if you want, and just take some breaths before we get going. So this is from a book called Breath of Joy. This is what I have to say to you. You are connected through the breath, connected by the very essence of your being. Not because you believe or know or practice, but because your soul is always plugged in, always whole. Without having to do anything in particular, you are the bridge between the infinite and this transient realm of form. Your connection isn't something that you can win or lose. And while you must choose to be aware of it, the divine is there, inside and out, ever present, whether you feel it or not. Step out of the shoes of unworthiness and run barefoot on the grass of your true nature. Unafraid, let the connection of your soul to all that is heal any remaining sense of separation. When you reach the right spot and you can trust yourself to know it, plant your 2 feet squarely on the earth and reach for the sky. Let the energy of the universe move through you, shape you in its own image, sculpt you for its greater purpose. When you breathe your arms down to your sides, you will walk back into the world a different being, consecrated to the mystery and living a life of open-ended possibility. So part of why I picked that, my favorite line was, step out of the shoes of unworthiness and run barefoot on the grass of your true nature. I love that line. So isn't that good? I love that line. Okay, so we're gonna just start out with some warm-ups here. And you can be in a comfortable seated position, and this is called Supi Grind or Siri Om. And so you're essentially just going to be going in a circle, and you're going to go in one direction, and I'm going to let you all decide when you want to switch. Okay, so I'm not going to cue you to switch. You decide. You can make the movements as big or as little as you want. Like for me, I like to go around 4 or 5 times in one direction and then come back around. But really, you can experiment with pulling your chest forward and rounding back, almost like seated cat-cows. And just keep circling around. I'm gonna just fix the Zoom, so I want to make sure that the visual here is good. Okay. Hi, Joel, come on in. We just started warming up. So yeah, just join us. Never worry about, you come in whenever you can. So, and if you feel like you want to just take a couple breaths, we did some breathing and grounding, and now we're just starting with some Siri Oms, where we're just kind of rotating around. This is our first move here, so we're just spinning in the opposite direction. And just see how it feels when you like, if you keep it smaller or if you make it bigger. And I know for me, depending on the time of day, I can make it bigger or smaller. So we'll take about 1 more minute of just some Sufi grinds. There we go. Okay. All right, so even yourself out, like if you feel like, oh, I did too many clockwise, too many counterclockwise, kind of. And part of why I didn't choose to cue this one for you is I also think yoga is about listening to your body and being like, I want to do a little bit more. So see where you're at. And then when you feel centered, just come to center and we're going to do just some shoulder rolls. So lift up and bring your shoulder blades back down and circle around. And then you can reverse it and bring them forward. Sometimes I like to do one at a time. I can hear my shoulders just freaking and cracking with those. And now we're going to get the neck into it. So if you, again, everybody's neck is a little different. I'm going to have you just take you choose an ear, drop your ear to your shoulder, and then just gently kind of rock it back and forth right on that one side you tilted to, and bring your chin to your chest and roll to the other side. And just hold it on the other side, just some small micro movements, kind of small nodding. And then in your own way, just start to fluidly move your neck back and forth. Some people are okay going backwards. Honestly, for me, depends on the day, if I can. So again, pay attention to your body. And if you feel an interesting space and you want to just lean into that a little more, I like to almost kind of hold on to my legs here and just, I can almost feel a stretch in my neck. Like if I lean my right ear to my right shoulder, it feels different than if I don't have that. So you can grab onto your shin and give it a little nod. And just follow your inner wisdom here with what feels good to your body. So give yourself another few seconds to kind of even it out. Get those clicks out. And then we're going to inhale, huge breath in, hands up overhead, reach to the sky. And then twist either direction. You're going to twist in one direction. So opposite hand on opposite knee. Your hand is behind you and you can look to the side or to the back. As you inhale, you're sort of lengthening your spine, and exhale into that twist. So we're just going to stay in this gentle twist. Don't push it too much for a few breaths. Inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, gentle twist. One more full inhale, lengthen, exhale, gentle twist. And then inhale back to center, hands up over your head, stretch as high as you can, and release to the opposite side. So again, just gentle twist, inhaling as our spine lengthens, exhaling into that twist. One more deep inhalation in and full exhalation out. Then inhale in, lift your hands up to the sky, and then rainbow your hands down and just take a moment to feel the earth and feel grounded where we are. And we are going to move into our tabletop. So come forward, your wrists are under your elbows. if, you know, when you're home, like if I had whatever I wanted here, I would have blankets for you all. So if you do come back, like I love to put a little blanket under my knees. So it's just something that helps. But we're just gonna go into some cat cows. So you're inhaling as your belly goes down and your chin goes up. Exhaling as you push your navel to your spine, head goes down. And just, again, do this at your own pace. Inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. You can stay, like I like to stay in cat and just kind of roll back on my lower back there. We just want to get some gentle movement into our spine. Many of us have been standing a lot today, doing some different movements where our spine kind of has gotten stuck. So right now we're moving our spine in one direction, back and forth. And finish your next cat cow combo and come back to center. And now we're gonna go the other way. So bump your hips to the right and look over your left shoulder. And just kind of feel, I can feel that in various places. You may feel it in other places. And then come back through center, bump your hips to the opposite side and look over your right shoulder. And now just use that side to side motion and do a little intuitive movement here, how that's different than the cat cows. Okay, now this is one of my fun ones. This is a little barrel roll. So almost like your spine is sort of scraping, you know, but just, yeah, I'm like imagining trying to circle around a barrel and going in one direction a few times and then reversing it back the other direction. We're really just trying to lubricate the spine and then come back to center. Beautiful. All right, leave your left knee is bent and we're gonna straighten our right leg behind us and just do a little sawing motion back and forth. And then kickstand your left leg to the side. I'm gonna see where you guys are. I'll do it this way for you. So just kickstand to the side a little, right leg is back, and we're just gonna open up to the right. This is called a gate pose. So for me, I like to have my foot flat, but your foot could be up. Like just experiment. And your hand could be up towards the sky. You could leave it on your hip. And then the last part of this is if you want to try a little balance, you could raise your right leg. And I like immediately feel that muscle screaming. So just take a couple of inhalations here. If you need to put your foot down, go ahead and do that. Take one more deep breath in and exhale, come back to center. Bring that right knee in. Now we'll do that on the opposite side. So left leg back, seesaw back and forth a few times. And just stretch out that calf. And move your right leg a little to the side and open up to the left. Again, you can have your hand up stretched or on your hip. And if you want to try to do a little balance, you can lift that leg. We're going to hold it for a few breaths here, inhaling and exhaling, and inhale and exhale back down to tabletop. Beautiful. All right, now we're just going to go back into child's pose. So you can have your knees apart or knees together, chin, forehead, chest on the ground. And just take some breaths here to center yourself and ground yourself. If child's pose is not a restful pose for you, you can be seated. You can sit on your, you can just do it cross-legged like this. The child's pose is really about just releasing and feeling comfortable and feeling grounded. So a few more rounds of breath in our restorative pose. And then slowly rise up into tabletop. And if you would like to get into a plank, you can either stay in tabletop or you can go into a plank. And we're just gonna feel how this feels right now and check it out. I had a teacher who says, like, the magic happens, when the shaking happens, the magic happens. I'm like, shut up. So let's just take one more deep inhalation, whether we're in a half plank or tabletop, and exhale down into downward dog. All right, this is all about perspective, right? So you decide, you might wanna, I just walked my hands back a little bit. They were definitely too far ahead for me, grounding down, separating all your fingers and pushing your finger pads into the ground. Taking your, you can, just walk the dog, right? Bending one leg and then the other. A nice deep inhalation. And then look forward. I have to walk my hands out. We're going to transition into plank. So transition from downward dog back into plank. And then lower your knees, chest, and chin down to the ground. And we're going to go into Sphinx pose. So Sphinx pose is just, I have to scooch my bottom a little bit, but your elbows are under your shoulders and your hands are out like a Sphinx. And as much as you can, keep your legs, your arms parallel. Experiment with your feet. So what does it feel like to have my feet zipped up? Or if they're separated, I can feel that in different places in my back. Like honestly, when mine are zipped up, I feel more pressure in my lower back, which I don't really like right now. So I'm gonna, that's what I like, depending on the time of day. So what I love about this pose is I love to feel like my pelvis and stomach area just ground into the earth. And we're just really talking about solid, feeling your breath, just getting embodied. So take some breaths in this position. And then if you want to, if you feel like your back, because we did a lot of warm-ups for our spine, but you could also just extend your arms a little bit, and that's a little more of a back bend. So that is only if that feels good to you. I like Sphinx. It's one of my favorite poses. And it's just good for relaxing here. So we'll take one more deep inhalation and exhale, just lower your head to the ground and then come back into a tabletop. All right, let's just do a little more. We'll just re-engage in some cat-cows. I definitely feel like my back feels different now than it originally did. And so just do some fluid motion. Connecting back to your breath, your body. All right, and come to neutral, and we'll go back up into a downward facing dog. Again, pedal out your feet. Ground your palms and your fingertips into the earth. Let your head hang down. Get a different perspective here. The world is upside down. Everything we think is true is likely not true. All right, we're gonna just slowly tiptoe our feet up to meet our hands, and we are going to be in a forward fold at the top of the mat. So your feet can be together or hips width apart. I think especially when the first time you do a forward fold, it's nice to have a slight bend and just really get into some intuitive movement here. So you can have your elbows clasped, you can have your hands on the ground if they reach. Do a little swaying back and forth. You can release your neck if that feels good and shake it yes, shake no. Just let everything go in this forward fold. All right, so we're going to take a moment here and you're going to bend your right leg. Your left arm is on the ground and you're going to open up. Let me see if I'm doing this right. Wait. Nope. Bend your right leg, right arm. So right leg bent, right arm down, and we're going to open up to the left. I'll do this for you guys. So if you cannot, this is where a block would be great if we had blocks, but you could also put your hand on your, well, that's good. That's so smart, Joel. Joel's getting some, well, even that little round one on the ground there would be all right. Like right behind. Yeah, because I think it would, because it gives you a different, blocks are amazing. Oh, thank you. So you've got your, bending your right leg, right arm down and opening up, twisting to the left. If this is too hard to have your hand up, you can have it. Perfect. Thank you. Look at us improvising here. You know, somebody said a toilet paper roll at home, like if you don't have blocks, like a whole toilet paper roll works great. So you can have your hand on your hip and just breathe into that. I can feel that all be on your left side. Feel how that feels twisting. And then come back to center, bend the opposite knee, the opposite hand down and open up to the right. Again, your arm could be outstretched up or on your hip. And breathe into that right side. And when people say that, like breathe into that part of your body, I don't really know what that means. I mean, for me, what that means is I just breathe and I think about that part of my body. And I try to relax it a little bit more and stretch it out. So take one more deep inhalation in and come back to center. And then just kind of shake your legs out. Give it a little shake and go back to that swaying forward fold. All right, slowly we're going to roll to stand. Just vertebrae by vertebrae, as slow as possible. And we're going to lift our hands over our head. They're going to come together at the top and then down in front of our heart. And just take a moment to get grounded. You can close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Make sure your feet feel really solid. So if you're kind of off kilter, get them in a position. Press your thumbs into your sternum and focus on your breath. Taking deep inhalations, and then that Ujjayi breath is an ocean breath. So it's you're inhaling and you're almost like closing off the back of your throat, and it almost sounds like a wave. So let's just take some breaths here. Take a moment to give some gratitude to yourself for carving out this time to transition into whatever you need to do after this. All you need to do right now is be here and be in your body. And release your hands down to your side. And then we're going to raise our hands above our heads and we're going to lean to the left. So you can take your left arm down to your side and just lean and stretch. Thinking about an open chest and heart. And how does that feel when it's open? You can also like lean forward and then lean back. Almost like making a little arc. Forward and back. Moving some some things around. I feel that in my lower back, up in my shoulder. Do one more nice lean to the left. And both hands come up overhead. And then now to the right. Right arm goes down. Leaning out with the left arm. Opening our chest. And then do that little kind of just quarter. I almost feel like a little toy from some girl body sort of toy. Just small movements. Get some movement in there. And then one more lean to the right and hands up, stretching as high as we can, and rainbow our hands down. All right, we're gonna do a couple of hip circles here. So this is where when you're home, not on video, it's fine. But we're just not gonna care. There's only a small group of us. So we're gonna go and you just pick a direction and I'll cue you when we're gonna move. And again, like you can have a little bend in and we're just getting some movement in those hips. And this can be as small or as big as you want. Some full rotation and then take it around the other way. Just really loosening up those hips, which again, when we're sitting a lot, standing in the kitchen all day, it get a little wonky. All right, and come to center. And now we're gonna do willow tree, which we did last time, but again, you want your feet a little wider than hips width apart. And so if you wanna, you could stand whichever way. And you're just gonna start to just slowly back and forth. Your hands might smack you. I'm gonna let us do this for a minute or two. You can, like some people keep their feet totally grounded. I think I'm a little more dancey about it. Like I end up going up on my toes. And that's just what I do. You don't have to do that. More seconds. And then just slowly come to a stop. And just stand again, grounded, feet into the earth, mountain pose. And breathe. And just notice how your energy has shifted from that one movement alone. I always feel a little buzzy after that. All right, I'm looking at the time because I want to give us time for Shavasana. So I think what we're going to do for like some of these last poses, I think we're going to transition to the floor and do some things on the floor. So just make your way to the floor and just shake out your legs a little bit. And we'll start with, this is staff pose. And we're just gonna start with a gentle forward bend. So lift your hands up overhead, stretch high, and just gently roll forward. And wherever your hands hit is okay. And we're gonna relax into this forward fold. Don't strain or stress. Just enough that like balance of ease and strength. You want it to feel a little kind of challenging. Like I don't sit like this because that doesn't do anything, but I don't want to be like where I'm super stretching. So just enough that you feel a little bit of resistance. Take one more inhalation in and exhale, roll all the way up. Hold in your right leg, so like a half butterfly. And what we're gonna do is you're just gonna kind of turn your body so that Instead of it, instead of looking straight on, you're gonna like open up a little bit towards this, and we're just gonna lean forward. So again, some people might be able to go like, I cannot do that. This is about good for me. So just, and feel the difference for that. That's a different place than when we did the forward fold. So just rounding into our spaces here. Connecting back to our breath and the present moment. Take one more deep inhalation in. And exhale, roll ourselves up. And then we're just going to switch our feet. So our right leg will go straight, left leg will come in a butterfly, and just turn a little bit out and gently lean forward. And just notice how one side might feel very different than the other. And don't judge. I've caught myself judging. I have a right knee issue. My immediate reaction was like, oh, can't do that as much. Nope, I'm gonna rewrite that story. It just is what it is. There's no judgment. One more deep inhalation in and exhale back up to seated. And then just bring both of your feet in for butterfly. So again, this is where it's like choose your own adventure. Some people like it really close in. Some people like to have more space, whatever feels good. And just give it a little wiggle, shake it out. I am definitely somebody who likes to stretch my chest. I feel like I spend so much time like this. So any opportunity I have to get some assistance, so I like to hold on to my shins and just pull that forward. I can't do that and wiggle at the same time. All right, beautiful. And now we're just gonna lie back down on our backs and bend your knees. And we're going to do a figure four. So stretch up your left leg to the sky. You can roll your ankle around a little bit, point your toes, and then just bend that into a figure four. Now you can leave it just like this. If this feels good to you and you got to stretch, great. Otherwise, you can thread your hands like to the outside of one and inside the middle and hold behind that opposite thigh and pick up your foot so that that right shin is parallel to the earth. And then you get to decide like how much pressure do I want to keep on here. Like in this position, I also like to kind of rock and roll side to side. I feel like that massages my lower back a little bit. Take one more deep inhalation in and exhale, placing both of your feet on the floor and then doing that with the opposite leg. So the right leg, lift that up, point and stretch your toes, wiggle your ankles around, and then fold that in half into a four. If that feels great, just like that, you can leave that. Otherwise, you pick up your opposite leg, your left leg, thread the needle through, and just find that perfect spot of ease and strength. And just release. Release all the tension and the worries from the day. Release any frustrations you might be holding on to. Release any sadness or anxiety. It'll be there for us. It'll be there after the class, but right now, Just know you are held by the earth. You are held by whatever guiding light or divine force you believe in. You are held by yourself. Take one more deep inhalation in and exhale, releasing your knees to the ground. Not knees, your feet. All right, so just take a moment or two to do any last movements you may like. So you might want to do a twist to one side where you have both knees to one side. You might want to do a happy baby. What is your body calling for in these last few moments of class? What else might you need? And when you're feeling like you've gotten in those last movements that you've needed to, you can bring yourself to a comfortable position. If you're like to lie on your back, go ahead. Let your legs just fall open. Let your arms fall open. And we're just going to take a few minutes in Shavasana to steep and integrate the movement that we did into our bodies. Simply resting. Allow yourself to be simply resting. Simply, naively, openly, completely resting. Make time for the dust to settle and the muddy waters to calm. Simply waiting for a stream of deep knowing to flood your already vibrant understanding. Even the moon renews itself. Even the ocean breathes. See this connection and let the morning curve of sunlight arcing across this blue planet guide you out beyond any sorrows in your heart into the sunrise of your life and your love. So just take a moment to bring yourself back into our shared space. You can wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe rotate them around. You can start to stretch your hands overhead and your legs behind you. Some soft, sweet movements. And when you're ready, if you want to roll to one side or the other and just take a moment in that fetal position, you can rest your head on top of your arm. And give yourself a sweet wish for how you want your evening to go. Imagine walking into your home, maybe seeing your pets, any loved ones or neighbors. What kind of energy do you want to bring into your space, into your relationship with others, into your time with yourself tonight? And as you are ready, you can bring yourself to a seated position, but feel free to stay in Shavasana or in a fetal position for as long as you want. It's always nice to have some extended quiet time. And I will just close off by saying thank you very much for joining me, and the light and darkness in me loves and sees the light and darkness in each of you. And I thank you for letting me be your guide. And I hope you have a beautiful evening. Namaste. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll say thank you to the online people for coming. Thank you. I appreciate it. I recorded it, so hopefully we'll see how that goes and I can post it. Yeah.